Hey guys, to start off, what I thought was really memorable with the play was sort of how hard Esther works at her job, and and then in the end, she kind of has all her savings and everything she's worked towards taken away from her, and she has to start over, and that's got to feel pretty terrible. And that was probably what I found the most meaningful was that little part. Moving on to some themes, I thought primarily was loneliness because, of course, that's what starts off the writing of letters between Esther and George. So that's kind of what moves the plot along. Second theme would be lies. There are obviously a lot of lies in the story between George, lying about having written the letters, lying about everything he might have said in the letters, and then even Esther lies. She also didn't write those letters, and she never mentioned that until much later on in the play. Finally, a third theme was companionship and love. There's a lot of different, relationships going on between the characters, whether it be Esther to George, or George to Mame, or Esther to Miss Van Buren, for example, or Mr. Marks. So there's a lot of interesting friendships happening. I think that's a big theme. Um, I would say that the play kind of reinforced and resists the stereotypes of African Americans because George is kind of this lazy African American man who's not very smart and he doesn't want to make anything of his life, and that probably does reinforce some stereotypes. Whereas on the other hand, Esther is, a very hardworking, independent woman who has put a lot of effort in, as I mentioned before, into her job with sewing, and she has this dream, and she saves her money to do that. She's even though she may not be literate, that doesn't necessarily go to say that she's not a hardworking person. So I think that kind of resists that stereotype, which is probably the point why Lynn Nottage wrote the play to maybe demonstrate a little bit of both sides. Moving on, I'd say definitely stereotypes exist today, and sometimes anyone might stereotype in their head just accidentally or just naturally, and although it's kind of messed up, there's reasons for why stereotypes still exist, and I think that's kind of people are ignorant and people judge way too easily, and they don't get to know someone. They just have this preconceived notion of what people are going to be like based on how they look at them. And what helps overcome that is trying to get to know different kinds of people, different cultures, so you can kind of learn to erase those stereotypes. Finally, two questions I have is why doesn't Esther confront George on his seeing of Mame when she kind of has a really strong hint that he has been doing so with the jacket being found, or with her seeing the jacket that was given to Mame? And then, what does Esther hope to get for confronting or confessing her feelings towards Mr. Marks when she knows that it's kind of a difficult situation for him? But is there anything that could possibly happen between them down the line?